And we are live. Just a quick one. Thought I'd fire one up. Not done one for a while. So yeah, man. Plenty of boxing to talk about. It's now finally returned, which is good. Top Rank put on their card the other day, and they've got a few more coming up. We've got Joshua Fury news, which a lot of people really are going over the top on, and I think I know why. But yeah, a few things to discuss, no doubt about it. But we shall wait for a few people to get in, and we'll go from there, man. We'll go from there. Yo, big up to Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News, aka Mark. Hopefully you're doing well. Boxing Virus as well. Big up to Boxing Virus. Yeah, this is only going to be a quick one, man. I've got a couple of bits on tonight that I need to sort out, but I've got a spare 45 minutes, hour, whatever it is. So I thought I'd fire up a live stream, crack open a beer, as you can hear. You know, thought I'd shoot the shit, I guess. Thought I'd shoot the shit. You guys know how it is. I think lockdown's going to be over soon here, man. It looks like it's coming to an end, which is good. Yeah, man. Just I'm glad boxing's coming back, even if it's we're getting some shit cards right now. You know, it's still something, right? It's still something. But yeah, man. I enjoyed the prospects on that Stevenson undercard for two heavyweights, Guido Vianello and Jared Anderson. I liked seeing those guys fight. Both of those guys, you know, I'm not saying they're the best prospects in the division by any means, but they're guys to look out for, you know. There's enough there for you to keep an eye on them for, you know. There's something about those guys worth checking out, worth following their careers, you know. But yeah, man. Fury Joshua. That's the talk of the town right now. I think a lot of it is... I think a lot of the reaction has been sensationalized, to be honest. I really do. I mean, ultimately, yeah, both parties, they've agreed financial terms, which is fair enough. That's one big hurdle out of the way. But there's still so many hurdles to overcome. The main one being the TV rights. Who's going to show this fight? Is it going to be a joint telecast kind of thing in the UK and the US? You know, BT have got Tyson Fury. Sky Sports have Anthony Joshua. In the US, Tyson Fury is with ESPN. I think Joshua's with DAZN. There's a lot of TV rights to sort out. And also we've got mandatories in the way. We've got Tyson Fury's third fight with Wilder. There's still so much ahead of us before we can even really get excited about this fight. Yeah, the news is positive, don't get me wrong. But I've seen a lot of people act like this fight is signed. It's not signed. Nothing's been signed. So I think people need to simmer down a little bit with this, to be honest, because you could be very disappointed in a year's time, you know. But yeah, I think a lot of people are going over the top. Yo, big up to Johnny Boy. Shout out to Johnny Boy. Shout out to ABC Def as well. Big up to Official Boxing Scorecard Science. No, Official Scorecard Boxing Science. Sorry, man. Sorry. Yo, big up to Dominic in the chat as well. No problem, brother. No problem at all. Random question. This is from Boxing Virus. Will Tank Davis ever be fully focused? I don't think so, to be honest, Boxing Virus. Listen, I criticize Tank Davis a lot, but as a talent, I do think he's got something about him. If he was fully switched on and fully dedicated, that kid would be a hell of a fighter. There's no doubt about it. The guy's got all of the raw potential in the world. Hand speed, power, explosiveness, you know. He's got a lot going for him. But, you know, you can have all the talent in the world. If you don't have the application behind it, the right attitude, the work rate, if you don't have these elements to your game, you're going to come unstuck in the end. And I think Tank Davis will come unstuck. I've not seen any signs of him changing his ways, which is unfortunate. But, you know, that's the path he's going down right now. And I've not seen anything to suggest that he's going to change that. I just haven't seen it. I would like to be wrong because I think he could be a really good fighter. But that's all there is to it, really. I can't really count on Tank Davis right now to really give me anything of any consequence. I mean, the guy's talking about fighting Leo Santa Cruz. I don't totally hate that fight, but at the same time, man, Santa Cruz is what, a 130-pounder who's only recently moved up from 126. So I don't think that fight's going to tell us about Tank Davis, to be honest. I really don't. We want to see Tank Davis fight other lightweights, you know, even guys his own age range, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, you know, these would be great fights. Great fights for Tank Davis. And if he could beat one of those guys, you know, he really becomes a formidable fighter and people would actually get behind him or at least believe in him. But right now, the guy's not doing anything. So what can we say? What can we say? Yes, big up to Toby Bartlett. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Hopefully you're doing well. Johnny Boy Boxing, Tank is a midget protester. Yeah, Tank needs to get his stuff sorted, man. He needs to get his shit sorted. You know, he spends too much time bickering with Adrian Broner and Floyd Mayweather. If he's that upset with Floyd, I'll tell you what, change promotional company, move out, do something different, you know? But, you know, we keep on saying the same thing about Tank Davis. You could have asked me that question 6 months ago. I would have said the exact same thing. So, listen, man, Tank, good talent, but he's not got the mindset to go with it. And in my opinion, he's heading for failure. In the long run, he's heading for failure. One thing I'll say about Devin Haney, at least the guy actually trains. You know, the guy stays in good shape. But, Tank Davis I can't count on. I really can't. That's a decent fight, Boxing Virus. Tank Davis versus Javier Fortuna. At least Fortuna, I would say at this point, is a real lightweight. I think that'd be a decent fight for Tank Davis. No problem. There's no problem on my end with that fight. I'd watch it. And I think that's the sort of fight he should be going for right now, out of lockdown. Someone along those levels. But just my opinion. Boxing Virus, he says, I don't see why young fighters sign with PBC or Mayweather Promotions. Yeah, if I was based in the US and I was a young prospect, I would more than likely sign with Top Rank because I think Top Rank have the best matchmaking for young prospects. They keep their guys fairly busy. And ultimately, Top Rank have been around for years. So I think you're in a pair of safe hands when you go to Top Rank. My second choice would be DAZN, I guess, Matchroom USA. But I would definitely go to Top Rank if I was a prospect, no doubt. I just think they move these guys the best. But you're right, man. You're right. PBC just don't keep these guys active enough, in my opinion. And I think that's the main criticism they've been getting. They don't keep these guys active enough, and they seem to keep them all in-house more than any other promoter. All promoters are guilty of keeping fights in-house. Everyone is guilty. But the PBC seem to take it to a new level kind of thing. I don't think we're going to see Errol Spence fight on ESPN anytime soon or anything like that. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Adolf Femi, Jesus Christ. That's a good name, man. That's a good name. Fuck me. But yeah, man, there's a few things out there to talk about right now. A lot of people are excited by Joshua and Fury, that news. But me personally, I'm not going to really take it with any seriousness. Take it with a grain of salt. There's a long way to go. There's a hell of a long way to go. Yo, big up to the Shepherd of Sons. Hopefully you're doing well. Holodell and War Makhmudov. Yes, sir. Arslanbek Makhmudov, he's coming to a fucking heavyweight arena near you. He's going to knock your favorite heavyweight clean out. Trust me. Big up to Makhmudov. Big up to Shepherd of Sons. But yeah, man, I want to see these prospects move on now. These heavyweight prospects. There's a lot of them about now. And some of these guys need to get a move on. I'm talking about guys like Filip Hrgović. Makhmudov himself, I want to see him step up. Bakole, Dubois and Joyce are obviously stepping up. That's a great sign. But, you know, these other guys need to follow suit. They really do. I mean, there's no reason why Eddie Hearn can't make Bakole versus Hrgović. No reason at all. He's got all of these guys in-house. He's not making these fights. And that's my problem with Eddie Hearn right now. He's got a lot of fights he could make in-house, but he's not doing it. The one in particular that I'm kind of annoyed about is Joshua Buatsi and Callum Johnson. Why is that fight not being made? It's a great fight. That's a great fight at light heavyweight. but Eddie Hearn ain't going to do it. Eddie Hearn criticised Anthony Yard before the Kovalev fight for fighting nobody. He criticised Yard for fighting no domestic level opposition. Well, Eddie Hearn needs to actually abide by his own narrative and actually make Buatsi versus Johnson. Why not? But he's not doing it. So Eddie Hearn's not. He's a guilty party as well. We do get on the PBC a fair bit, but Eddie Hearn's also to blame in these fights not getting made. So are Top Rank. All of these guys are guilty to some extent. Some more than others, though. Some more than others. Big up to Jonathan Williams. Hopefully you're doing well. Virtuoso as well. Hopefully you're doing good. Big up to Virtuoso. He asks, why do PBC shills believe that a boxing program is going to have their own belt, that somehow the WBC will lose influence in the sport? Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Never going to happen. They was talking about a PBC belt years ago. I'm talking like four years ago when the PBC first basically was made. Maybe 5 years ago in 2015, whenever it was. They was talking about a PBC title. 5 years later, we're still nowhere closer to it. So, yeah, I can't see that happening. And I can't, even if it did happen, I don't think it would actually be successful, to be honest. Big up to Apology Man as well. Big up to Apology. Big up to Timmy Neelam. Toby Bartlett, in-house fights are okay, but eventually you end up being detrimental to the fighter's career, in my opinion. Yeah, it's okay having in-house fights if they're good fights, but in-house fights when the guys are not fighting anybody, that's when it becomes detrimental. Like Tank Davis, ultimately, the guy's not fought anybody worth a damn since Pedraza, and I think he's suffering for it. He's not developing as a fighter. He's not experiencing adversity in the ring. He's kind of having things his own way right now because of that. And when he actually steps into the deep end, whenever that may be, maybe he's ill prepared because of that. Who knows? But I think a lot of these fighters these days are far too comfortable. And a lot of these guys are very entitled. Like I made a video about Ryan Garcia the other day, complaining that he was only getting paid $200,000 for a July 4th fight on DAZN. I mean, what's Ryan Garcia's problem? The guy's 21 years old, I think, 21, 22. He's fought absolutely nobody. We're going through a pandemic where we're going to go through a recession. There's not going to be any crowd. And this guy has the audacity to say he deserves more than $200,000. And by the way, he was going to fight July 4th. So he wasn't fighting anybody decent. But the guy was talking like he's a fucking pay-per-view star. What's all that about? The guy's beat nobody. The guy's best win is Francesco Fonseca. I mean, come on now. That's what's wrong with boxing. That's what's wrong with boxing. These entitled fighters. None of these guys want to step up. None of these guys want to take a risk. They want to get paid for doing nothing. A lot of these guys. A lot of these guys do, man. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating. That's why I like what Teofimo Lopez is doing. He's been stepped up quite early. He's gone through the levels of competition. He's just beaten a good champion in Richard Comey, and now he's going after Lomachenko straight away. I like that behavior. Whether he wins or loses is irrelevant. At the end of the day, he's willing to test himself. If it comes off, he becomes a star. If he loses, he can go back to the drawing board. No big deal. But he's actually going forwards. He's chasing big fights. That's what I want to hear, man. I don't want to hear you guys complaining that you're not getting paid enough to fight scrubs. I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. Ryan Garcia, listen, man. If boxing isn't for him, stick to being a fucking Instagram model and shit like that. Do that if you don't want to be a boxer. But, these guys wind me up. They really do. They really do. Yeah, exactly, Timmy. I think Teo deserves credit. Whether he wins or not to me is irrelevant. I don't really care about that. I'm not going to shit on a fighter if they lose a fight where they lost to the best. I'm not going to do it. At the end of the day, they fought the best. They come up short. It is what it is. All that matters is these guys are willing to fight each other. If you're willing to fight each other, I've got no problem with you at all. No problem at all. That's all I want as a fan. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is secondary. If a fighter is willing to fight top competition, that's all that matters at the end of the day. That's all that should matter anyway. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, virtuoso. Ryan Garcia, the TikTok champion. Yeah, 100%. He was moaning that he gets paid more outside the ring than he does in it. Well, retire then. Retire from boxing, be an Instagram influencer, whatever they call it. Do that. Do that. If that's what you're concerned about, just focus on that. But if you want to be a fighter, make your bones, work through the ranks, fight some good guys, and when you fight better guys, you're going to build a profile. You're going to get better purses. It's that simple. It's that simple. And I had a couple of his fans comment on my video saying that, well, Ryan Garcia's got a big profile. He should be getting paid more. He's got a big social media profile. There's a big difference here. Who are his social media audience? Teenage girls. Do teenage girls translate into people buying tickets for your fights or watching your fights? Not necessarily. I mean, the last time Ryan Garcia was on TV in America, not on DAZN, I think it was against maybe Jason Velez, and I think it was ESPN maybe, and those numbers were pitiful, like about 200,000. Those numbers were pitiful. So the guy doesn't really do big numbers, as we last saw on regular TV. So why does this guy deserve fucking whatever he wants? The guy's a prospect still, at the end of the day. He's a prospect. So Ryan Garcia needs to fall back, get some good names on the resume, and then your purses will go up. He's got the talent. He's got the look. He's got the style. The ingredients are there. He just needs to put his head down and work. That's all there is to it, in my opinion. That's all there is to it. But there we go. There we go. Boxing Virus, he says, I can only see Lopez getting better after the Lomachenko fight. He seems like the type of fighter who wants to strengthen his weaknesses and stay in the gym year round. Yeah, 100%. I think he's a very dangerous fight for Lomachenko. I really do. A lot of people are saying it's going to be an easy fight for Lomachenko. I'm really not sure about that. I'm really not sure. I certainly believe Teofimo is Lomachenko's hardest fight at 135. 100%. I 100% believe that. And also we have to consider, I don't think Lomachenko has looked as dominant at 135 than he did at 130, 126. Maybe that's the weight. Maybe Lomachenko is losing a step. But I don't think he looks as dominant, to be honest. I really don't. He's fighting bigger guys. Teo's a big guy with power. He's quick. That's a dangerous fight, people. That's a dangerous fight. In my opinion, at least. I think that's very dangerous. I think he could have some rocky moments there. I wouldn't be surprised if Lomachenko gets dropped by like a flashy shot, like a flash knockdown, similar to Linares. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Unrivaled boxing talk and news, man. Oh, Nathan, yeah, I saw that. Prograis Hooker's now off. Yeah, it's now off. It's now off. So the story with that is Maurice Hooker wants that fight at welterweight, and Prograis wants it at 140, I believe. That's disappointing. That's a good fight. That was a good fight, but maybe Maurice Hooker's been eating a little too much in lockdown. Maybe that's why he wants it at welterweight. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason, but it's disappointing, no doubt. That's a good fight, man. Two former champions. Both guys can punch. It's a good fight. Both guys in their prime. Hopefully they can come to an agreement. Maybe fight at a catch weight. I've got no problem with that, to be honest. But, yeah. Disappointing. Yeah, big up to B-Space, man. Big up to B-Space. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Yeah, Hooker's definitely going to move up, Nathan. He said it after his loss to Ramirez that he was going to move up. But yeah, that's a shame. Hopefully they can get that fight back on. I like that fight a lot. I do like that fight. Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. Huge fight brewing for us super hardcores who love the midgets. Ioka and Tanaka, do you mean? Because if Ioka Tanaka happens this year, I'm hyped. It looks like Estrada Gonzalez could happen as well in the rematch. They're talking about that fight happening this year. That'd be great if we could get that fight. That rematch. That fight needs a rematch anyway. That first fight was damn close. Damn close. Fuck me. We've got a few beers open here, lads. So, Apology Man, he's got Ioka. I agree. I think Ioka's going to old man him, to be honest. I really do. Ioka's gonna old man him. Ian Ward, big up to Ian Ward. Hopefully you're well, man. Hopefully you're well. Hi, Del. Do you think David Haye and Tony Bellew will come back for separate fights? I wouldn't be surprised if one of them comes back. If anybody comes back between those two, I've got a feeling it's going to be Tony Bellew, because he's been saying a few things recently about fighting Ruiz. He also mentioned about fighting Povetkin a while back. I think Tony Bellew still has the boxing bug. I still believe he wants to fight, whereas David Haye, I don't think he really cares anymore. I don't think he cared in his other comeback, to be honest. I think it was about money. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bellew comes back. Virtuoso's picking Tanaka. I wouldn't be shocked, by the way, if Tanaka wins that fight. He is younger. He is fresher. Maybe he's the A-side in Japan. I wouldn't be surprised if Tanaka wins. But I've just got a feeling Ioka's going to rewind the clock and he's going to take Tanaka somewhere horrible and stop him late. I've got a feeling that's going to happen. Very good fight, though. Tanaka versus Ioka. That's a fight with pound-for-pound level implications. No doubt about it. And if that fight gets made, sadly, hardly anyone's going to talk about it. That's the sad thing. That's a pound-for-pound level fight in which nobody's going to talk about, apart from a few channels. One of them's in this chat right now. Yeah, we've got Wack versus Kingpin Johnson tomorrow. Yeah, 100%. Pay-per-view. Kevin Johnson versus Marius Wack. I don't know what to call that fight. I'm going to watch it, though. I'm going to watch it. I might even make a post-fight review for it. How about that? I can do it already. Kevin Johnson throws 3 jabs in the fight. Marius Wack lumbers around, throws a few clubbing shots. Wack wins by unanimous decision. Post-fight review right there. There we go. Post-fight review done. Yeah, I've got Wack UD. What fight did you mention Unrivaled? I can't even see it, man. Oh, shit. Kenshiro Kayaguchi. Do you know what? I think Kayaguchi's going to win that fight. I really do. Do you know what? I've never been that sold on Kenshiro, I've got to say. I've never been that sold. Maybe blasphemy. It might be blasphemy for some people, but I've never really been that sold. Not saying he's not a very good fighter, because he is, but I don't know, man. I don't know. When is the God Charles Martin returning to the ring? When he smokes his fucking money up, man. When he spends all of his money on coke and fucking marijuana, that's when he'll come back. Apology, man. How did you guys see the Ioka Nietes fight? I scored it for Ioka. I did too. Apology. I felt Ioka won it. I felt he was the guy pressing the action for the most part. At times, Nietes was offsetting him with his awkward kind of style, that awkward rhythm. He was boxing well. But I felt Ioka just worked harder. He landed the better shots. I felt he dictated the paces of the fight. I felt Ioka won it, to be honest. Not a robbery, but I felt Ioka won. Yeah, I like Sporting Icons Adolf. I do. I don't agree with him all the time, to be honest, but he's decent, man. He's decent. Yeah, man. Kenshiro versus Hiroto Kawaguchi is good, man. It's a good fight. It's a very good fight. Nathan, he says, Dave Allen versus Hughie Fury is off. Apparently, Allen wanted too much money. Not too bothered, to be honest. Would rather see Hughie Fury, David Price. I agree, Nathan. Dave Allen, I'm not interested in Dave Allen. If I never saw Dave Allen again on my TV, I would be happy. I'll tell you what, if I could guarantee Dave Allen never fights again on my TV, I would down all of these beers I've got now. I've got 3 cans left. I would down them all right now if it meant that Dave Allen never comes back. That's how I feel about Dave Allen. He's had his chance. He's pissed out of the wall. He takes the piss far too much. I've had enough of Dave Allen. I've had enough. I really have. Damn, official had Ioka by 9 or 10 rounds, man. I felt Ioka won it, man. No doubt. I felt he won it, but I felt it was closer than that. But yeah, I felt Ioka won. Gloved Up Boxing, big up to you, sir. If Fury beats Wilder, I'm sure he will be made franchise champion. Dillian White will get made full world champion. Beast promoters should be getting their fighters in contender fights to fight White. Yeah, that's a good point, Gloved Up Boxing. That's a very good point. If I'm a fighter in the WBC, I'm going to get myself ranked because there's a chance Dillian becomes an email champion, you know? And these guys need to be aware of that. They need to be aware. That's a good point, actually, Gloves Up Boxing. That's a very good point. I think that's what's going to happen as well. That's what I'm saying, though. There's so much in the way. There's so much in the way before this Joshua Fury fight. Usyk is not going to budge, apparently. He wants his fight with Joshua. White wants that WBC shot. We've got Pulev and Wilder still in the way. Who knows what could happen? Maybe there could be an upset in one of those fights. Maybe somebody gets injured. We've got the whole issue of TV networks to sort out. There's so much still in the way of this fight. But I think people are getting too excited. I really do. People are acting like this fight is official. It's not, man. It's not official. Nothing's been signed. Nothing's been signed. Nathan, he says, Allen should fight Cash Ali or Tom Little. I agree, Nathan. I totally agree. That's his level, area level. That's what Dave Allen should be. That's where he should be fighting, area level. If he beats a couple of those guys, then English level, and actually go through the levels properly instead of talking your way into fights and getting beat up by David Price. Do you know what I mean? St. Brit Sports. Dave Allen versus FAS Jagba's a logical fight. I would watch it, St. Brit. I would watch it. I would definitely watch it. But like Dave Allen versus Fabio Wardley, for example, that's a fight that should really happen. Dave Allen's getting all of this airtime on Sky, yet you've got young prospects like Fabio Wardley who aren't really given a chance. Yet this fat wanker Dave Allen gets every TV date available. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Good. That's another good shout. Gloves Up Boxing. Could be the time to make a heavyweight World Boxing Super Series. The other belts going to be unavailable for 18 months. Yeah, you could have like a best of the rest tournament at heavyweight, and the winner of that tournament is in line for a title shot and at Undisputed. That's a good shout. It's a good shout. We've got Hernan Cortez in the building. Big up to Hernan Cortez. Hopefully you're doing well. Shepherd of Sun says, War Pulev. Yo, I think Pulev is shot to bits. I really do. I think he's shot to bits. I think my dead nan's got more going than Pulev right now. I really do. Yeah, Nathan, I agree. Dave Allen should look at fighting guys like Fabio Wardley, Tom Little, Cash Ali, or Sokolovsky. I agree, man. I agree. And as for our Gloves Up Boxing, he mentioned the World Boxing Super Series. That's one thing I'm really concerned about once we come back full-time to boxing. What financial state are the World Boxing Super Series in? Will we see a third season of the WBSS? I'm very doubtful, I've got to be honest. Hopefully I'm wrong. The World Boxing Super Series has been one of the best things to happen to boxing in a long time. So hopefully we get a third season, but I'm very doubtful, man. I think they've got a lot of things to come through financially. You know, they're going to struggle. They really are. But hopefully they can make a go of it. Hopefully they get a third season because I've enjoyed the tournament. But for whatever reason, tournaments in boxing haven't really caught on. They never really have. You know, the Super Six, while good, was poorly organised. You had the HBO tournaments, like the middleweight tournament in the 2000s with like Hopkins, Joppy, Trinidad and people like that. Yeah, so you had the 80s heavyweight tournament with HBO. We've had tournaments in boxing in the past, but they've never really caught on, and I think that's a shame. I love a tournament concept in boxing. I love it. Last man standing type shit. I like that, man. I really like it because there's, you know, who's the best. You know, the winner of that tournament has actually done something quite remarkable. You know. I love tournaments. I love tournaments. Yo, big up to Speak Your Mind Sports Talk, aka D Jefferson. Big up to D Jefferson, by the way. If you guys haven't checked out Speak Your Mind Sports Talk, check him out, man. Give him a follow. Really, really good channel. Really enjoy his content. I can't always watch because you know how it is in life. We've got our stuff to do, but D is a really good channel, man. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Big up to D Jefferson. Dave Allen versus GA meetings. Big stiff idiot. I think you could be right there, man. I think you could be right. Oh dear. Oh dear. Rivas versus Takam was set for July, but an elbow injury for Rivas. He needs surgery now. That would have been a good fight. Yeah. Carlos Takam versus Oscar Rivas. That's a good fight. That's a very good fight. Two shorter heavyweights, but both guys are aggressive. Both guys come to fight. I think that's a good fight right there, you know? And that's what I'm saying. In the heavyweight division, a lot of these like fringe contenders, they need to start fighting each other as well. You could get some really good fights. Oscar Rivas versus Takam's one of them. Oscar Rivas versus Jarrell Miller, another one. You know, there's a lot of fights out there. There really is. There's a lot of fights out there. Yeah, Jesse Magdaleno's fighting tonight. I'm not going to stay up and watch it, Intangible. I'm not going to stay up for it, but I'll catch the highlights tomorrow. I probably won't do a post-fight for that fight, to be honest. I probably won't do it. Yeah, big up to St. Brit Sports as well, man. Big up to St. Brit Sports. He's saying it looks like Jarrell Miller versus Takam next. Yeah, good comeback fight for Jarrell Miller. Good comeback fight. I think Takam has seen better days now. I think he's, 39 years old? Something like that. Coming off that bad knockout to Chisora. I think he's seen better days, but, you know, Miller needs a comeback, and I think Takam's a solid opponent, to be honest. I think he's solid. Yeah, unrivaled. I totally agree. Dave Allen doesn't deserve any more opportunities. He's ran the well dry. Yeah, 100%, man. It's not the fact that he loses fights. That's not it for me. It's the fact that he doesn't put in any effort whatsoever. That's my problem with Dave Allen. He's had so many chances and he turns up looking like Homer Simpson. That's not good enough. It's not good enough, man. If you're going to get these chances, at least show up in shape. Give it a go. If you lose, fair enough. There's no shame in that. But the guy does himself no favours whatsoever. Boxing Virus. He says, feed Dave Allen to Jalalov on his pro debut. I'd watch it. I'd watch it. Yeah, Nathan, Ajit Kabayel, he's another fighter. Very inactive. Very inactive. Former European champion at heavyweight. He beat Chisora. But after he's beaten Chisora, he's done nothing since, Kabayel. Why is Kabayel not fighting someone like, I don't know, Robert Helenius or, you know, someone along those lines? Helenius, Washington, Martin, Otto Wallin, these sort of fighters. These will be great fights for Kabayel. Great fights. Great fights. Yeah, Dave Allen he's definitely the most hyped up journeyman on the planet. And there's nothing wrong with being a journeyman. A good example of a journeyman who I really like, who I really respect, is Gabriel Rosado. Yeah, the guy loses, fair enough. But he always gives it a go. He always comes in shape. And he's a real fighter. So Gabe Rosado, if that guy had 20 losses, I'd still watch him fight. I've got a lot of respect for Gabe Rosado. But Dave Allen, nah, not for me, man. I'm tired of him. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of Dave Allen. I'm tired of the dead banter. I'm just, yeah, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Ian Ward, big up to Ian Ward. He says, Del, how do you think a fight between Canelo and Plant plays out? And Canelo Benavidez. Canelo Plant, I think Plant troubles Canelo early on, just based on that movement, you know, boxing from range, stick and move. I think Canelo does kind of struggle with that style. But Caleb Plant's a guy who does slow down. We saw that at the end of the Uskatigi fight and also the Porky Medina fight. So I think Canelo, after 4 or 5 rounds, would start finding that body. He'd start chopping down Caleb Plant and more than likely stop him late on. I think Canelo would actually stop Caleb Plant. I think Benavidez is the interesting fight because Benavidez is a massive super middleweight. He's huge. He's got great punch variety. He's got great punch output, high work rate, and he's only getting better. I think Benavidez stylistically would be interesting, but defensively, Benavidez has a lot of holes. He really does. He's very defensively open right now, but I think Benavidez has the highest ceiling out of Plant and Benavidez. I think I'm in the minority on that. I've seen a lot of people favour Plant against Benavidez. I think Benavidez beats him. I really do. I think he beats Plant. But that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. We got H Money, Mr. DAZN. Big up to H Money, Mr. DAZN, Mr. No Hairline. Big up to you, sir. Hopefully you're doing well. Would you put money on Allen versus Sokolovsky? I wouldn't. Neither would I, Unrivaled. Neither would I. Neither would I. Neither would I. Yeah, I can't stand Plant either. St. Brit Sports. Caleb Plant is a fucking 8 Mile reject. 8 Mile reject. Can't stand Caleb Plant. He's a good boxer. He's talented. You know, he is a good boxer. I'm not going to take that away from him. But him as a character, not really a fan, to be honest. Not really a fan. Not really a fan. That's not even the real. That's not even the real H Money, I don't think. Anyway, which is a shame. That's a shame. Yeah, Rosado's a gatekeeper. That's true, actually. Unrivaled. Yeah, I wouldn't call him a journeyman. Maybe I was being unfair. Unrivaled. But you know what I mean, though. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know, he's like he's a good. He's a proper professional. That's what I'm trying to say. He's a real professional. What about Lucas Krasansky? Very solid heavyweight. Interesting style. He's a big fat guy with quick hands. You know, well, he's not big. He's short, but he's fat, quick hands, aggressive. He destroyed Izu Agono, but he's done nothing since. Why not Rosansky versus Karanaki? That'd be a good fight. A battle between the two Polish heavyweights. That'd be a really good fight. But nobody knows Rosansky, though. Nobody knows him. That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, I agree. Big stiff idiot. Plant's an arrogant mug. I hope he gets ice soon. Yeah. If Plant fights Canelo, Benavidez, Danny Jacobs, Billy Joe, I'm going to root against Plant in all of those fights. All of those fights, I'm going to root against Plant. Yeah, that's a good shout, Unrivaled. That's a really good shout, actually. Rosansky versus Demirezen. Really good shout. I'll tell you what. I heard you and Boxing Beats and Rhymes talk today about Bakole not getting fights. I wouldn't mind seeing Bakole versus Demirezen himself, to be honest. I think that's a solid fight. Demirezen's a guy who's not going to turn down opportunities, and Bakole's finding it hard to get fights. Bakole versus Demirezen, to me, sounds good, man. I'd watch that fight. I'd watch that fight. AA Boxing and Blunts. He says Dave Allen should rematch White, Ortiz, and Yoka back to back for the fans. Yeah. Yo, Yoka put a beating on Dave Allen. He put a beating on Dave Allen, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Nathan, he says, what are your thoughts on IFL and some of the boxing media now? I'll be honest, I don't really like any of them. Yeah, I'm not a fan of any of these guys. If I had to pick a favourite, I would say more than likely Boxing Social and the channel with Marco Villanegas, whatever his name is. But I like Marco. He's solid, but for the most part, I don't really like these boxing journalists. I don't really like them. None of these guys really push the boat out. At the end of the day, they watch what they say because they need that press pass, you know? So they're not really doing it. They're not really doing anything special to me. None of these guys really put the pressure on in a big way. Like Kugan Cassius, for example. Kugan Cassius will actually ask Eddie Hearn tough questions because they've got a good relationship. But Kugan is not going to ask someone like Frank Warren a tough question. He's not. He doesn't do it. He really doesn't do it, man. So, yeah. Yeah, man, I'm not a fan of these guys, to be honest. Yeah, that's a good shout, Unrivaled. I've not thought of that one. Bakole versus Peter Milas. Yeah, that's a good fight. Peter Milas for another guy. He's another prospect who's inactive, not fighting enough. Not fighting enough. Frustrating. Yeah, Rosansky, Demirezen. That's another good shout. See, we should be matchmakers in here, man. We need to be matchmakers. Do you know what I mean? We need to be matchmakers. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. He says Lawrence needs a good fight as well. Do you mean Lawrence Okole, D? Do you mean Lawrence Okole? Apparently, Lawrence Okole is going to fight Christoph Glowacki next. That'd be a good shout. That'd be a good shout. Good step up. Nathan, he says, most underrated fighters are currently in the UK. He has Kid Galahad and John Ryder. Yeah, I think both of those guys are underrated. I think Kid Galahad gets an unfair criticism because of his drugs ban. Yeah, it happened, but it's over now. He served his time, and he's a tricky fighter, no doubt about it, man. I felt Kid Galahad looked really good in his last fight against Claudio Morero. I felt he looked really good. So he's going to be a threat. He's going to be a threat. Whether he can be a world champion or not, I'm not sure. But he's a good fighter. And as for John Ryder, I agree, man. I felt he beat Callum Smith. I think John Ryder should be the Ring Magazine and WBA super middleweight champion. In my opinion, I think he should be champion. I think he should be champion. Adolf Femi, he says Michelle Joy Phelps has no gag reflex. Oh dear. Box says Del disowned Michelle Joy Phelps. I don't know why you guys thought I fucking took her under my wing in the first place, man. I don't know why, man. Yo, big up to Dick Justice. That's a funny name, by the way. Every time that gets me, man. What do you think of Trey Lippe Morrison? Not one of the better prospects in the division, but he's a guy who can clearly punch hard. He's got his dad's left hook for one thing, heavy-handed, but he's kind of plodding, does the same thing over and over. Defensively, doesn't look that impressive, to be honest. Not the biggest heavyweight in the world. He could make for some fun fights at like fringe level, but he's never going to be a threat to the top 10. I can't see Trey Lippe Morrison ever beating a top 10 heavyweight. I really can't. Shepherd of Sun says Liam Williams. Yeah, Liam Williams, he's improved, no doubt about it. But I will say with Liam Williams, he's looking impressive, but who's he really beating? Alantes Fox, yeah, fair enough. He done a much better job than Andrade. But apart from that, Liam's not really beat anybody. I want to see Liam in there with a top 15 guy, a genuine top 15, even top 10 guy. Like I said, someone like Selecki would be a good shout for Liam Williams. If Liam Williams can dismantle Selecki in good fashion, then we know he's improved. But until he fights that level of competition, I'm still not sure. I don't want to see Liam Williams go straight in with Andrade. I want to see him fight a fringe top 10 level guy first, just to gauge how much this guy's really improved, if at all, and then go from there. Yeah, bro, D, man, John Ryder. I was furious that night when John Ryder got robbed. Furious. I was fuming, honestly. It wound me up so much that John Ryder got robbed that night, because that's a guy right there who's always been a guy who's had talent. He's always had ability, but he's never put it together. And on the one night, he put it all together, fought a great fight, great game plan. He done everything right, and they robbed him, man. They robbed him. I felt for John Ryder, and that's not the first time John Ryder's been robbed. He got robbed against Rocky Fielding. He got robbed against Jack Arnfield as well. Some people even felt he beat Billy Joe Saunders, believe it or not. That was a really close fight, but yeah, I felt Callum clearly lost that fight. Yeah, and I felt, listen, John Ryder's a good fighter, no doubt, man, no doubt. GB Boxing, is it Trivia TKO tonight? I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. All I know is I'm the champion, bro. I'm the champion. I'm the BDA TKO Trivia champion. There we go. That's all I know. But I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure whether it's tonight or not. D says El Jefe told Mark he's the best matchmaker in the YTBC. Jesus Christ. Gashi versus Allen, who wins? Gashi, Boxing Brains. Yep, big stiff idiot. John Ryder's been robbed twice in Liverpool. Yep, true. Yeah, big up to John LeJohn. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Hopefully you're doing well. Not seeing you for a while, John, so hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully everything is well in your end of the woods, man. Hopefully everything's well. We've even got Dragon Leg. Dragon Leg has showed up. Big up to Dragon Leg. Schwartz versus Gashi 2 might happen. Jesus Christ. I think Tom Schwartz is in trouble. He knocked about his woman or something like that. So Tom Schwartz, he's not going to be seen for a while. Gloves Up Boxing. If Canelo wants a cheap opponent, it could be Ryder. Sell it the same way they'll sell Derevyanchenko losing to Golovkin. That's a really good shout. I've heard rumors that Canelo is willing to fight without a crowd. And If he does, they're going to need a cheaper opponent. John Ryder could be that guy. If Canelo fights behind closed doors, listen, John Ryder could be that guy. He could be that guy. I wouldn't be shocked to see John Ryder Canelo, to be honest. I wouldn't be shocked. What cherries would you like to be fed? Interesting question, Box. I might make a couple of call-outs in a video, maybe. I might make a couple of call-outs. I heard John Gonzalez, I heard he wants it, so maybe John Gonzalez can get it. Maybe John can get it. Yeah, big up to Nick Harmer, man. Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you for the support, Nick. Seen you in a lot of videos lately, man. So big up Nick Harmer. Jay's Boxing Universe. Should Dana White run boxing? Interesting. He's doing good stuff for UFC in terms of putting on good fights, at least. I know a lot of fighters are kind of unhappy right now, but that's always happened in the UFC, and they always come running back. Connor's going to come running back. Masvidal's going to come running back. And John Jones, he's going to come running back as well. This always happens in the UFC. Dana's going to be fine. They're putting on great fights. I mean, they made Khabib versus Justin Gaethje, for example. Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. They're making some really good fights right now. They're making some really good fights. Unrivaled said, call out Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy's lost 2 straight, man. I don't think I can. I don't think I can. Johnny's lost 2 straight. What about, yeah, T-Tone. T-Tone, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. It'll be hilarious if T-Tone knows everything about boxing. He's like an encyclopedia. That'd be hilarious. And he beats me. Boxing Virus, he says, Del Boy cherry picking John Gonzalez. I thought you said you're going to be a throwback type of champion. No, man, I'm going to be like one of these modern fighters. They get one good win, then they think they're like a pay-per-view star and fight nobodies. That's what I'm going to do. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'll fight whoever they put in front of me, to be honest. Yeah. Adolf Femi. Why is White fighting Povetkin? Battle of the drug cheats. If he truly was the can man, he would fight Hrgovic or Usyk. Complete bum. Life and death with Helenius and Dave Allen. I think that's a little unfair, but I do agree in a sense in which Dillian White, he has this reputation of being a guy who will fight anybody. When in reality, the guy has avoided a few fights now. He avoided the Joshua rematch. He avoided Pulev. He avoided Luis Ortiz. You know, he said Usyk wasn't an attractive fight because he couldn't speak English. Dillian White has turned down fights and he's poured cold water on potential fights. So I'm tired of hearing that Dillian will fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. It's not true. It's simply not true. And I keep on hearing as well, Dillian White hasn't had a title shot. He had a title shot. He turned it down with the IBF at least. So Dillian's had his chances, but he's not taken them. So it's hard to feel sorry for him, to be honest. It's hard to feel sorry for him. It really is, man. It really is. Yeah, Prograis needs a new opponent. Gloves Up Boxing. He needs a new opponent. Prograis. Who could Prograis fight next? I would love to see Prograis versus Baranchik, but Baranchik is fighting Zepeda next. Maybe Prograis versus the winner of that fight. Who knows? El Muncho in the chat. Salute Blue. Big up to you, sir. Big up to you. White, yeah, no doubt, Nathan. White has some good wins. I'm not disputing it. So Parker, Rivas, Chisora, Helenius, yeah, good wins. But my whole thing with Dillian is just his fans claiming he'll fight anybody when that's not the case. It's not the case. Prograis versus Barrios, good shout, Nathan. Really good shout. Prograis versus Pedraza, another good shout. I think Pedraza might be fighting tonight. Oh, yeah, I think Pedraza might be fighting tonight. That'd be a good fight, though. Yo, El Mencho, Regis versus Mikey. That's a great fight. That's a great fight. Mikey's never going to take it, though. Mikey Garcia would never fight Regis, unfortunately. I think Mikey's content on trying to, get these big paydays. He's not going to fight a risky fight with little reward financially. He's not going to do it, unfortunately. Yeah, Baranchik Zepeda, that is a good fight, Nathan. That is a good fight, no doubt. That is a good fight. Smash the like, lads, by the way, be much appreciated. I think Baranchik's going to beat Zepeda, though, Nathan. Zepeda's going to be awkward out of that southpaw stance. He's a tricky boxer, a nice counter puncher. He can mix it up as well. He'll be awkward, he'll be tough, but I think Baranchik, his aggression, his sheer strength is going to be a bit too much for Zepeda. But good fight, though. Good fight. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, Speaking Mind Sports Talk. I totally agree. Yeah, he had a title shot and got beat, had another title shot, like you said. Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And I don't mind Dillian White. I don't mind Dillian. I actually prefer Dillian to like Joshua and a lot of heavyweights. He's one of my favorite heavyweights. But yeah, the guy needs to simmer down. He needs to simmer down. John Wayne, big up to John Wayne, man. Hopefully you're doing well. The Shakur Stevenson card was dog shit. Yeah, wasn't a great card. It wasn't a great card. I felt Shakur. He looked good. He looked good in my opinion. But the guy he was fighting was of a low level, so we can't really read too much into it. But Shakur done what he had to do. He did exactly what he had to do. When you fight that level of opponent, you need to dominate them. And that's exactly what Shakur did, you know? So it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, I agree, AA. I would say Dillian White against Dave Allen was workmanlike. He won every round without really setting the world on fire, you know? Good fight, John Wayne. Kid Galahad versus Shakur Stevenson. I like that fight. And Kid Galahad called out that fight as well. He asked for that fight. So listen, not many people are calling out Shakur Stevenson. So make that fight. Make that fight. That would certainly be Shakur's toughest opponent to date. Really interesting boxing match. Two technical guys, you know. El Muncho, he says, Del, do you think Guido could become a heavyweight champion? He's certainly an interesting prospect. Very athletic. Bounce. He's got nice bounce in his step, quick feet, nice quick jab. You know, he'll feint with his hands, with his head, with his shoulders, with his waist. He looks quite good to me, man. He looks interesting. He looks interesting. Good prospect. Good prospect. Box, he says, Barry takes him to Yemeni school. Yeah, Kid Galahad's a good fighter, all joking aside. He's awkward as hell, Kid Galahad. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. Yeah, Nick Harmer, I agree. Nick Harmer, I totally agree. So Dillian White, I've noticed this. Dillian White gets all of his credit for beating Chisora twice. Tyson Fury doesn't get credit for beating Chisora. Ajit Kabayel doesn't get credit for beating Chisora. Vitali doesn't get credit for beating Chisora. The only person who gets credit for it is Dillian White for whatever reason. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Conor Benn versus Josh Kelly. Who wins? Josh Kelly. I don't rate Josh Kelly, but I think Josh Kelly wins. But I've heard Josh Kelly could be moving to 154. Apparently, the Avanesian fight is totally off now. It's not going to happen. And yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So there we go. That's it. That's really annoying as well. That was a great fight. Big stiff idiot. Could be wrong, but I reckon White gets chinned very soon. Wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. I mean, Dillian, he got dropped by Oscar Rivas. He got hurt by Helenius. He got knocked out by Joshua. He got dropped by Joey Parker. So listen, man, he's been getting hurt. He's been knocked out. He's been getting dropped. Wouldn't be shocked. If, let's say, Povetkin knocked out Dillian, would anybody here really be shocked? I wouldn't. I'm not picking it to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. You know? That's a good fight, by the way. That's a good fight. I think Povetkin's a live dog. It's one of those fights where I make Dillian a favourite. I'm picking Dillian to win, but I'm not ruling out Povetkin. Good fight. It's a good fight. Yeah, I agree. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. Yeah, he's kind of like Puerto Rican domestic level, not up to the level of Shakur. I agree. And listen, man, Shakur did exactly what he needed to do. He needed to dominate and look good and get the stoppage. Shakur, he fulfilled his end of the bargain, you know, and that's all he can do. We knew that fight was going to be a mismatch, and it was really just a question of how good Shakur looked. And I felt he looked quite good. I felt he looked quite good, man. Yeah. Yeah, Povetkin has a chance. Povetkin did pretty well against Hunter. I've got to be honest though, I felt Hunter beat Povetkin, if I'm being honest. Close fight though, not a robbery, but I felt Hunter just about won. Yeah, Carbello took a lot of punches. It wasn't the headshots that was hurting him, it was those body shots. That last body shot that Shakur landed, that left hand to the body, that was a beautiful shot by Shakur Stevenson. I liked the body work in that fight. It's something I've not seen a lot of from Shakur Stevenson, his body work in his previous fights. He'll do it now and again, but I never see like a concise effort to work the body on a consistent basis. And that's what he did. And interesting. I think he would need to do that against someone like Josh Warrington. He will need to work that body to stop that pressure coming forwards, to stop the volume. Maybe that's what he was doing. He was trying things out, you know. But yeah, Shakur looked good. Shakur looked good, man. Yeah, speak your mind, sports talk. I think I agree. I agree. I wouldn't be shocked, and I don't rate White as high as everyone else. Yeah, I agree. White is a good, solid contender with a good left hook. He's fairly tough, and that's really all there is to it. He's not a great boxer. He's just a solid contender. You know, solid contender, solid contender. St. Brit Sports, Whack Johnson is for the vacant Polish heavyweight title. So Johnson could become the champion of Poland. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, we've got Pigeon Mike Tyson in the building. Big up to you, sir. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're doing well. I've never seen you in here, Pigeon. I've never seen you in here. If that's the real Pigeon, of course. But I've never seen you in here. Welcome aboard, man. Welcome aboard. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Yeah, this whole stream, I've only opened one beer. I'm doing pretty well, you know. I'm doing pretty well. Unrivaled, that is the overreactionary response of boxing fans. Unrivaled. We expected that, though. Whoever lost that fight was a bum in a lot of people's eyes, you know. I lost a lot of respect for Deontay Wilder in regards to how he handled that loss. Don't get me wrong, really pissed me off. But if you stick Wilder in there with a lot of top 10 heavyweights, I'll still pick him. I mean, I would pick Deontay to knock out Kubrat Pulev. I'll pick him to knock him clean out. I'd still pick Deontay more than likely against fucking, I don't know. I think like he could beat Dillian. He could beat a lot of guys still, you know. But when somebody loses, you know, they're done basically in today's boxing. And like Adolf said, Wilder beats AJ and White in his opinion. I really wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. He's got a great chance in both. He's got a great chance. Yeah, I'm still boozing, man. I'm still boozing. No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, exactly, man. So Carlos Takam beating Wilder. Come on now. Come on. That's ridiculous. Joseph Parker, I can entertain at least. I can entertain that. But Carlos Takam, come on, man. That's ridiculous. What you're doing there, the people saying this they're basically also discrediting Tyson Fury. If Deontay Wilder is such a bum and he's so useless, then you can't give Tyson Fury credit for beating him if he's a bum. This is what I don't get with boxing fans. They'll shit on a fighter, shit on a fighter, shit on a fighter, but they'll praise the guy who beat him. It makes no sense. Listen, Deontay is a guy with a lot of flaws. We all understand this. He's not a great boxer. He's not, but he's got an eraser. If he catches you, he can knock you out. He's kind of awkward, you know. He's been a champion for a long time, whatever you think of him. He's a good fighter. He's a better fighter than he is a boxer, but he's a tough guy for anybody to beat. He's a tough guy for anybody. If you don't think Deontay Wilder on his day could knock out Joshua or White, then you're crazy, man. You're crazy. And again, I'm a guy who lost a lot of respect for Wilder. I gave Wilder a lot more time than most before this Fury rematch. But yeah, I'm still not going to shit on the guy completely and completely rule him out. Even if he loses to Fury again, I wouldn't advise him to retire. I still think there's money out there for him. I still think there's fights out there for him. You know? Chuck him in there with Andy Ruiz. if he loses to Fury again. I think he could beat Ruiz. I really do. If you can move, if you can stick a jab out and move, there's a good chance you beat Ruiz because Andy Ruiz has the foot speed of a cement mixer. Can we just be honest? If Wilder gets on his bike, like he did Stavern 1, and just throws a jab out there, he could beat Ruiz. He could, you know? But there we go. Yo, D man, this one's just solo, but because I plan on turning this one off in about 5 minutes, but I'm gonna plan on streaming more than likely Sunday night. So if I do, you're more than welcome, man. You're more than welcome. But this one's just a solo one, just because I've not done it for quite some time. I thought I'd go solo, man. You know what I mean? Thought I'd go solo. Yeah, exactly, Adolf Femi. Chisora's lost 9 times and Hearn puts him on pay-per-view, yet Wilder's finished. Yeah, exactly, man. Adolf, 100%. And Chisora said this himself about society, about the boxing public. He said after he got knocked out against Dillian White in a rematch, Chisora said, why do you write everyone off when they get knocked out or when they lose? We can all come back. And that's the right attitude, you know? Take a loss, come back. It doesn't matter, man, you know? It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Hearn's always been a hypocrite, Nathan, no doubt. No doubt about it. I mean, imagine saying in 2014 when Chisora lost to Tyson Fury in that rematch, imagine saying then that Chisora would be headlining a pay-per-view on Sky in 2020. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. And at the end of the day, listen, Chisora, whatever you think of him, that's what perseverance gets you. That's what toughness gets you. That's what stoicism gets you, you know? That sort of attitude these days is really underlooked and it's frowned upon. If you're a stoic individual and you're not an emotional bitch, people look at you like you're a weirdo. You know? They look at you like you're a weirdo. Like I get that a lot, yeah. I get called like cold and shit like that a lot, man. But I don't want to be like these fucking people crying on social media, crying about every single problem they have, man. You know what I mean? We've all taken losses. It's how you come back. And Chisora, listen, he's a tough dude, man. Whatever Chisora gets out of boxing, he deserves it. As far as I'm concerned, he deserves it. Chisora deserves everything he gets out of boxing. Puts it on the line every single time. Every single time. Yeah, Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. Yeah, BFTB. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I don't get, BFTB, though. I don't get it. How you can totally shit on a fighter, and if your guy then beats them, then you'll give them credit. It makes no sense. If you're calling a guy shit, when your guy beats him, at least have the consistency to say, well, he beat a fighter who was terrible anyway. I'm not going to give him credit. At least have consistency, you know? Same with Fury fans, though. That's shitting on Wilder now. Well, don't give him credit for beating him then, you know? There we go. There we go. Same Brit Sports, man. Oh, shit. There we go, man. Exactly. Apology. Is exactly. I'm not into this like social media nonsense. I like trolling people just because I know they'll rise to it. I'll troll now and again. But yeah, it's just not for me, man. Modern society it's gone downhill. It really has. Just the way people deal with things, deal with problems, you know. Every single problem people have, like somebody has, is somebody else's fault. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Unrivaled boxing talking news. This is a hell of a comment. Ted Cheeseman looks like that one lad at school who was in remedial English and laughed at everyone fighting. He does actually. Yeah, he does. He does, man. Oh dear, that's a hell of a comment. That's comment of the night so far, man. No doubt. Yeah, it's going to be a good fight, AA. Cheeseman versus Eggington. That's going to be a fun fight. I think the Eggman gets splattered. To be honest, I think Eggington loses, but a good fight. Good fight. Oh yeah, social media is terrible, Nathan. I've been looking at Twitter a lot more recently, and it's full of I don't know, man. It's a cesspool. Put it that way. It's a cesspool. Yeah, man. Yeah, Ted Cheeseman's out of the Goonies, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt, man. Yeah, yeah. I think most people I've seen are picking Ted Cheeseman to win that one. Boxing Brains. He wanted to ask, is Eggington shot, and what fight did he become shot? Joaquinho, Beefy, Malignaggi. Mate, I just don't think he's that good. Boxing Brains, just a real sort of mid-tier domestic fighter. I don't think he's shot though. I don't think he's shot. Have you read Publicly Shamed by? Sorry, have you been publicly shamed by John Ronson? Great read. Never read it, to be honest. Sounds interesting though. Sounds interesting. I do need to start reading more. That's one of my pleasures for 2020, but I've not done it yet. I've not done it yet. I've not done it. Yes, sir, Nick Harmer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How much did you rate Paulie as a fighter? Sorry, the actual Paulie. Paulie Malignaggi, man. Listen, I don't like Paulie that much, but he made a lot out of his career. Couldn't really punch. Had a lot of hand injuries, but he made it work for himself. You know, he got some big fights. He got some big paydays. 2-weight world champion. Paulie Malignaggi, in reality, was an overachiever. That's what he was. So he done well. He done well. You know. Yeah, man. Andre Berto's shoulder roll was a thing of stupidity. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. He looked terrible. He got beat up, man, by Robert Guerrero. He made Guerrero look like Roberto Duran, for Christ's sake. Do you know what I mean? Jesus. Jesus. Yeah, he made Andre Berto look Asian, Guerrero, in that fight. It's crazy, man. He got beat up that night. He got beat up. Scott Brown, big up to Scott Brown. He says Josh Kelly's got the worst shoulder roll in boxing. Tio's is a distant second, but making it closer the longer the rounds go. Yeah, I don't think Teofimo's is that bad, to be honest. I don't think Teofimo's is that bad. Yeah, Andre Berto's shoulder roll wasn't even a shoulder roll. That was like a fucking egg roll or something like that, man. Ham roll, whatever, like Pigeon said, ham roll. Yeah. Lee Selby versus George Kambosos Jr. Do you know what? I think Lee Selby might get beat. I really wasn't impressed with Lee Selby against Ricky Burns. I wasn't impressed with him against Omar Douglas. Lee Selby's not a lightweight for me. Kambosos is. Kambosos, strong, aggressive guy. I could see Kambosos outworking Lee Selby. If Lee Selby wins, don't be surprised if it's a gift decision, like a robbery. Don't be surprised. But I've got Kambosos on points, to be honest. How do you have seen Marquez versus Cotto going? Jay's Boxing Universe. Very good fantasy fight, that. 140 or 147. Interesting. That's a hard one to call, you know. I'm going to go 147 for the weight class. We're going to go juiced up Marquez from Pacquiao 4. And we're going to go Cotto from the Mosley fight. I think Marquez might have knocked him out, you know. I think Marquez might have caught him. I don't know, actually. Cotto's punch resistance was better at 147. That's a tough fight to call, man. That's a tough fantasy fight. Marquez Cotto. Marquez Cotto, man. Do you know what? I'm gonna go Cotto on points. I'm gonna go Cotto on points. Del, what do you think of L-Dog's comments on that he thinks Golovkin's going to lose against Kamil Sesmareta? L-Dog, whatever you're smoking, son, send some my way. I'm out of weed, so just send it my way, bro. You know what I mean? Send it my way. Yes, sir, Nick Harmer. Yes, sir. 100%. 100%. Yeah, but I've got Cotto. I think Cotto on points. I think Cotto could outwork Marquez. Hell of a fight, though. Wouldn't be surprised if Marquez caught him. You know, that could happen. But at 147, Cotto never really got slept, you know. It was all accumulation. The Margarito fight was accumulation. The Pacquiao fight was accumulation. Can Marquez bang Cotto out? Maybe. But I think Cotto could outwork him. I think Cotto could outwork him. That's a great fantasy fight, though. That's one you don't really think about. Or I don't. Hell of a fight. That's a hell of a fight. Yeah, good fantasy fight, man. Oh, now here's Mark, man, Mr. Hardcore. This is what I like, man. This is what I like. He says, okay, fuck it. Real fantasy fight for you, Del. Grigory Drozd versus Junior Dorticos. Now, that's a fucking tough one. That's a fucking tough one. Grigory Drozd was a better boxer. You know, his jab was excellent. His distance control was excellent. But Dorticos, he's a big lump, man. He applies pressure really well. Lovely right hand. He's got a hard jab himself, but I think that's for boxer versus for pressure fighter. I think it's going to be one of those fights which turns out to be a what you like type of fight. I actually think it goes points. Grigory Drozd by a majority decision. I think it'll be super close. I could see either guy getting knocked out, though. I really could. That's a hard one to call. But I've got Drozd on points. Close points win, Grigory Drozd. Yeah, Drozd on points. Yeah, Drozd beat Wolodarczyk. Yeah, but Wolodarczyk was a really good fighter at one point. Really good fighter. If you guys haven't checked out Wolodarczyk versus Steve Cunningham, both fights, I suggest you do so. Two really good fights. Two really good fights. Wolodarczyk was a good fighter. Fun to watch. Really, really fun to watch, man. Yeah, Pigeon. Yeah, Alexander Vodzik's retired, unfortunately. But me and Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News, we spoke about this on live streams, and we come to the conclusion that there was a real possibility that he would retire, given the fact what he went through, you know. So I wasn't really surprised. I've got to be honest. I wasn't really surprised. You know, those two fights with Stevenson and Beterbiev, they took a lot out of him. They really did. Putting Stevenson in a coma, for one thing, getting beaten down by Beterbiev and getting put in hospital himself. You know, those two fights were mentally challenging for him. So I'm not surprised. Also, his stablemate, Maxim Dadashev, he died as well. So Vodzik's gone through a lot in the past year or so, past 2 years. So I'm not surprised he retired. I'm really not. I'm not surprised. If his heart's not in it, he made the right decision at the end of the day. He made the right decision, because if you fight when you're not fully invested, that's when you get hurt, right? So Vodzik's made the right decision. You know, it's a disappointment for the light heavyweight division, no doubt about it. The division got a bit weaker. But, you know, at the end of the day, the fighter comes first. And if he thinks it's his time, it's his time, unfortunately. Okay. Okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie. Anyway, lads, this was only meant to be a quick one. Next live stream, we'll have people on. But yeah, this really was just a quick one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to wrap this one up. Got a few things to do, a few errands to run, as they say. But yeah, man, I'm going to wrap this one up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Smash the like, by the way. Peace.